What's up, internets? Welcome back to some more Fire Emblem. Wow, I was about to say the Fire Blade Chronicles, but that's the wrong game. Yes, Fire Emblem Warriors is going to be some really cool stuff because the new DLC pack has given us 3 new skills to come with the 3 new characters, and out of all of these is going to be Gale Force. Now, for those of you guys that are unfamiliar with the more recent games of the Fire Emblem series, Gale Force is a fantastic skill due to the fact that when you kill an enemy, then you'll be able to move again. Really nice for clearing out maps, but in this game, Gale Force has been changed into something entirely different. Now, this time, whenever you kill an enemy, you will have more potential in your awakening gauge. You gain some gauge, and it takes about 6 to fully replenish it, but really 3 is all you need to reach the halfway point, and then from there, you're off to the races. What makes Gale Force so awesome is the fact that every character becomes sort of like a miniature version of Tiki. What I mean by that is that as long as you can focus down each of the big captain type enemies, you're going to have a really great time, and it really goes to show. Now, obviously, my favorite character in this entire game, Camilla, really does benefit from this. Not to mention that she's at level 150 and has 144 strength, magic, as well as a new skill from Owain that actually lets her benefit from the fact that her offensive stats are so messy. It works really nicely. I'm going to show you that right now. So basically what I want to do is just kind of focus down on what makes her so simple, and that's due to the fact that when you have Awakening Gauge, you will be proccing critical hits all the time, so Lethality and Luna are a must, as well as Luck plus 20, getting us to a nice and sensual 96 Luck. And Resonating Power is pretty much nigh on mandatory for Camilla at this point. She is right back on top in terms of the damage output. And of course, Gale Force, being the whole point of the video that you're watching right now, is going to be a good time. She is a really powerful farmer, or at least she always had been, but Gale Force just takes that to a whole new level now that we can reliably stay in Awakening for extended periods of time. It's not as broken as Young Link from the, from Hyrule Warriors, but it is kind of reaching towards that level, and honestly, I really do love that. So, like we said, one of Camilla's main strengths is the fact that the longer the fight lasts, and the more you do your job by clearing out the waves as easily as you can, you will be seeing quite a bit of damage. Now, the build that I'm using is essentially the same as you've always seen before. Fury Builder, Strong 1. The new Bolster ability is actually really recommended on most of the characters just due to the fact that it increases the damage of Pair Up Plus, but currently I am running Critical Plus. This means that critical hits will do extra damage, and if a Lethality procs, we're going to one-shot pretty much everything in a critical hit. And because when we're in Awakening Gauge, your critical hits will actually be an AoE effect. This means you can hit multiple people and probably kill all these people, so I hope you guys stick around for that one. Here we go. Critical Focus is going to really come in handy for us. Break this as soon as we can. And there is going to be a ruffian at the top of the map that I quickly want to get. But before any of that happens, quickly open the Awakening Gauge and off we go. So here we are. Darius, again, because we have the immediate yellow gauges. I also have a Solidarity on Tharja. Tharja is the person that I have been leveling up lately, just because I need to sort of level her up, and then I'm going to level her down so that I can get some materials for her. So there we go, that is going to be a proc. Quickly make my way through this. And you know what, probably going to kill this guy with a critical hit. The nice thing about doing critical hits is that the depletion of your gauge will actually pause, so that is going to be something very useful for us. Here comes another Fort Captain. You know what, kill this guy with a couple of regular attacks, I think. There we go. 30 seconds is more than enough time for us to find this ruffian at this map. Remember, if the ruffian actually survives the countdown, then it will be a game over for us. Most people actually already know this, but it's just something worth reminding. I'm actually going to go ahead and just spam running strong attacks, because I want to rack up as many KOs as I can for Tharja. And here we go, there is going to be the next guy. And we have 2 Sword Masters. Thankfully, because we're in Awakening Gauge, we can just go ahead and armor our way through this one. And like I said, AoE for our critical strikes is nothing to sneeze at. And that is 3 down. Remember, 3 will it'll get just about half of your Awakening Gauge. So the whole priority of playing with Gale Force is just to find the density as quickly as you can. It's not like with Tiki, where as long as you're in a large group of people, you'll be able to just press the strong attack to refill your gauge. You will actually need to consciously find them. Once you do, though, it's pretty smooth sailing for the most part. Go ahead and, yeah, we can't even break the gauge for that one to pause it. That's okay. 3 running attacks, and head down to this map. I'm just gonna go ahead and just speed my way through this. Look how strong those running attacks are too. Iago. Again, I'm gonna have to do regular attacks on Iago first. Very, very cool stuff. Gale Force has always been a very potent ability in the games that it did appear in. Even in Fire Emblem Heroes, even though it had like a large cooldown, it still had sort of a almost game-breaking mechanic where you're able to move twice in a single turn. It's really, really useful. But in games like Fire Emblem Awakening, which is what this one's based off of, what makes it so nice is just the fact that, again, it does change the way that you play. You can afford to sacrifice damage. Like, I don't need to use Lone Wolf, I don't need to use even like anything like Warrior Plus, I just have to worry about Critical Plus, and we're going to be fine. Okay, I'm kind of wondering if there is a blue jar in here that I can make use of. Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay, no jar. I'm gonna have to run over to this next crowd and then press the A button to cancel this gauge. 1550 is not that bad. Pretty good run overall. Press A, cancel, and this should kill the ruffian instantly. Remember, we're max level with Camilla. She does an insane amount of damage as it is. This is no exception. Alright, so that I think basically does it for objectives. As you can see, this build that I've been using right now, I'll actually put it up on the screen right now. Boom. This build that I'm using is actually the one I have been using to speed through the DLCs. Now, people probably already have their things in mind, but this is what I do for speeding through them. Just for completion, just to make sure that I can sort of have access to everything as soon as I can while still playing the game. And, like, you know, because I don't want to hack because hacking is bad. Don't hack, kids. Don't do it. But the thing is, though, I want to be able to speed through them as quick as I can, and the thing is, though, part of accessing the content available in the DLC involves leveling up characters and making them eligible for actually participating in all these different adventures, all these different maps. So that's exactly what we see here. You know what? Now that we're here, I'm going to go ahead and then fight this fort captain, and we should be able to clear out the rest of the map with just a single awakening gauge. So that's basically what this is, though. This entire build that I have is to help me level up characters like Tharja. Now, part of the reason why leveling up is so useful is just because whenever you level up someone, you actually get yourself a you get yourself the materials of the character that you level down. So, for example, for Leo, it would be like his whatever his gold item is, and then his tomato for the silver. The formula I'll actually put up on the screen right now, but for every couple of levels you will get an item as a result. So if you're at like 150, then it would be based on those values. But yeah, I'm gonna avoid this shadow right now. Don't need to worry about it. We're gonna go straight for the boss. Just go ahead, belly flop your way in, press A, and this should be an insta kill. That's part of the whole thing, though. The whole point of this build is just to speed farm everyone, and honestly, like, it only took about 10 runs of the level 128 map for Olivia's Opus to actually get Camilla from 130 to 150, so it's really, really good stuff overall. Obviously, that would mean switching out some of her skills to have the Paragon and using Elite Blessings at the Temple, but we are kind of drowning in materials as it is. So yeah, Gale Force is such an awesome move. You can use it for pretty much anyone. Obviously, for characters like Minerva and Camilla, there is a little bit more benefit just because of how mobile they are, but still, if you do find yourself using very strong single-target enemies, then they definitely can benefit from this, because remember, when you have Awakening Gauge, or you have the yellow stun gauge, you will have AoE critical hits. Anyways, guys, thanks very, very much for watching this little build of mine. I hope you guys can borrow it, or at the very least, steal it. You know what? I don't mind. I love having these things to go around. And if you guys have any ideas for builds, then feel free to sound off in the comments below. I'd be very delighted to hear what you guys have cooked up in this new DLC. Anyways, that's all, and everyone take care.